I would now like to introduce Brian Nankervis. Of course, this is a man who needs very little introduction. He is an Australian radio, theatre, television and comedy stalwart. He fell in love with radio. I love this story. He fell in love with radio as a young lad, listening in front of the kerosene heater on a rainy day. That sounds like something I would have been doing. He began presenting shows on Melbourne's Triple R in 1979 and currently co-hosts the Friday Review on 774 ABC. Brian will celebrate with us his deep love affair with radio, particularly the joy and power of community radio. Please welcome Brian to the stage.
Thank you, Sister Zion. Can I just say, the best welcome to country that I've ever been involved in. Absolutely. And if I just steal a couple of elements of that over the years, it will all be in tribute to you. All right? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Delighted to be here. And in fact, it's an opportunity for me to say thank you to the community broadcasting sector. I was a primary school teacher and started doing shows on Triple R in 1979. I taught for 6 years until a kid came to school with a bag full of maggots. I won't go into that, but, you know, true story. Any ex-teachers in the room? He was a great kid, Leszek Trowalski. He was a bit of a whacker, you know, one of those kids with a big smile on his face, but no idea what's happening. How you going, Leszek? Oh, pretty good. What are you doing, Leszek? I don't know. Anyway, it was a bird that he brought to school for show and tell. It was dead. There was a period of a couple of months between the bringing of the bird and the final realisation, the remembering that the bird was in his school bag. So, 6 years and took a year off, and my ambition was to try and get work in radio. As I say, I'd been at Triple R since 1979. I was madly in love with the power, used wisely, but the reach, the broadcast, the connection, and ultimately, I think, with the community. So I thought, this is what I'll do. I'll take a year off and I'll investigate the idea of working full-time in radio. In the meantime, I got a job as a waiter at the Last Laugh, a theatre restaurant in Smith Street, and the more I investigated the idea of working professionally in radio, I sort of dipped my toe into the waters, and it soon became very, very clear that the freedom, the I suppose, sense of challenge and this sense of excitement that Triple R gave me, the community sector, was not going to be repeated. I knocked on doors in commercial radio. I sort of knocked on the door of the ABC, but it wasn't to be. So I gave up very happily, in a way, because I ended up at the Last Laugh as a waiter in 1986, and 30 years later, I've never gone back. But last year, I got a call from Warwick Tiernan at 774 at the ABC. Would you like to come in and do a once-a-week show on 774? So it took 30 years, but Triple R gave me my start, and for every performer in Australia, the ABC is an incredible goal, and I'm delighted to be there. We do the show every Friday. This afternoon we're doing it live from the Astor Theatre as part of Australian Music Month, and it's such a joy, but without that beginning at Triple R, without me just phoning up and speaking to a woman called Nadia and her saying, yeah, come in and I'll show you how to do it. She gave me 3 lessons, and the next thing I knew, I was doing every Sunday on Triple R, but more of that in a moment. So I wanted to say thank you. I also do need to acknowledge, we acknowledged the First Peoples of this land. We do need to acknowledge the history of this beautiful, beautiful room. I'm not sure how many people realise, but it was originally constructed in a tiny fishing village in Kent in 1412. It was a meeting place for community groups, for conferences, for hundreds and hundreds of years, and finally it was dismantled and moved to Australia, brick by brick, each brick in a tiny paper boat, pushed by small just pygmies to Australia and then erected here. And there is history and there are traditions, and the tradition of the Pullman Conference Centre is that we sing the Pullman anthem before every conference, and I don't think you've had a chance to do it, so I'm happy to lead you. So all tables holding hands, please, for the Pullman Conference. No, properly there, sir, properly. Look at this, a couple of blokes there, not afraid to experiment. Fiona, I'm waiting. You know, all very well being a minister, but that's good. If we could join that circle there, please. All right, could we have the hands in the air? Look at this. A little bit of enthusiasm, sir. That's good. We are united. No, holding, not just near. Holding that stranger's hand. All right, now lower the hands slowly. No, too quick, up again. All right, let's maintain the grip. This is where we sing. I make a noise, and you make that noise back to me as a group, as a collective, as a community. Here we go. Hey, shalamala, hey, oh. Shalamalaho, shalamalahe, oh, 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 oh. I like to move it, move it. Give yourselves a big hand. Beautiful. Take that one back to the farm in Young, Fiona, and eventually to young Mitch in Canberra. Of course, traditionally, the anthem is followed by 4 very short, very topical jokes. Joke number 1, how do you know someone's a vegan? Don't worry, they'll tell you. Number 2, why doesn't Elton John eat cos lettuce? Because he's a rocket man. Number 3, if Bert Newton was a butcher, how would he introduce his wife? Meet Paddy. And one that was whispered to me by an announcer at PBS the other day. How many community radio announcers does it take to change a light bulb? It's a really obscure number. You never would have heard of it. Thank you. Now, personally, I have to say that my entry into community radio was largely sort of music-based. I think that's one of the wonders of the sector, that it is so wide, but it does cater for the music nerd, the music fanatic, and that was certainly me. And on the RocKwiz program, we take great delight in asking people just to take it back for a moment into their dim, dark past. And for me, the first band I ever saw, the first international band I ever saw, was the Kinks at Festival Hall in 1974. Ray Davies came out onto the stage, said, "It's great to be here. Your government has just banned our latest single, so we're going to play it twice." Which was Lola, and I've now got an 18-year-old daughter called Lola. First local band I ever saw was Dingoes at Martini's, and the first record I ever bought, I joined the Australian Music Club and I got a 3-pack. I got Bob Dylan's Highway 61 Revisited, I got the best of The Who, and I got the soundtrack to The Graduate. And I didn't know that much about Simon and Garfunkel, but there was something about that photo on the cover that really got me in. The first single I was ever given was on my 11th birthday, February 18, 1967. My best friend, Warren Higgs, picked up all the clues. I made it very, very clear what I wanted. I wanted Snoopy versus the Red Baron by the Royal Guardsmen. Do you remember? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 or more. The bloody Red Baron. Now that was the problem, because Warren's mother Beth was a God-fearing woman. She was a good woman, and when she found out that the word bloody was a part of the chorus, she freaked out. She said, Warren, Brian's parents are, like me, God-fearing people. They will not be happy with the word bloody, and it was hard for her to even say it. So she came round to the house and she seized the single. I was shocked, broken-hearted, an 11-year-old on the floor crying. And I'll never forget her standing on the front steps of 256 Doncaster Road, North Balwyn, holding the single aloft. She said, I am removing this filth. I will come back with something more appropriate. True to her word, she came back the next day with a replacement single, Two Little Boys by Rolf Harris. True story. She was not to know. All right. Now, Kale. Here we go. Oh, he's on the ball. I have trouble with ordering kale in a restaurant, but when your sound technician is called Kale, you know you're in the community sector. Kale, thank you very much. So what I want to do now, I know we're all about community here. I know we're all about joining together. But if there's one thing that we've discovered on the RocKwiz show, it's that people like a bit of competition. You know what I mean? So I thought, just to get you fired up, because you've got a big couple of days, we might just have a little quiz, a little music quiz. Now, normally I would pick the minister, but she does obviously has gone straight to see Mitch and teach him the anthem. So, Philip, you're correct. I think I might ask you to be scorekeeper. So, Philip, obviously you have to prove yourself as a scorekeeper. So a couple of very simple questions, Philip. True or false? Moby, Morrissey, Chrissy Hind and Meatloaf have formed a supergroup called Meat and Three Veg.
False.
False is correct. Excellent. 1 down, 2 to go. Who said the following? All right, it's a quote. And I need you to tell me who said it. The quote is, I don't like country music, but I don't mean to denigrate those who do. And for those who do like country music, denigrate means put down. You have 3 alternatives, Philip. A, Bob Dylan, B, Bob Newhart, or C, Bob Catter.
I'd go with Bob Dylan.
Or
the second one.
correct, Bob Newhart. Oh, you're almost there. You are almost ready to be today's scorekeeper. Okay, final question. It's a true or false. It's paying tribute to one of the great musicians in this country who, can I just say, has had a renaissance in his career, and community radio has been behind that. True or false? In honour of his 1967 hit, The Real Thing, and the founding father of the People's Republic of China, Russell Morris has opened a Chinese restaurant called Umau Mamau Mao's.
I think that'd have to be false.
It's false. Beautiful work. All right. what do you think? I think we might. You've always got to have two teams. Part of me wants to sort of go there, but no. I think we might. I think we'll do boys versus girls. What do you think? That'll get you fired up. Hands up, the boys. Let's just get a little vibe on this. He's going because he's not sure. Okay, hands up, the girls. Yeah, excellent. Hands up if you're transitioning. Let's not forget that. Thank you. We'll put you with whatever group you want to be with. So boys versus girls. Philip, come on, chop, chop. That's good, boys. Line down the middle. Girls. Okay, so you'll hear a little song. You'll hear a little grab. Hand up when you know the song title and the artist. Now, I do this a bit, this quiz. However, today I thought, okay, use some music that was possibly first heard on Community. So it's very liberating for me, all right? I don't have to have ABBA, and I love the Beatles, but I can have a Beatles-free zone. So we're thinking about music that might have been encouraged by you people. Kale, let's have the first one. Thank you very much. Bit louder, Kale. Let's pump it up. Look out. She's standing up. She's dancing. Thank you, Kale. Yes. By Warumpi Band. 2 to the girls. Come on. Hit next one, Kale. Thank you. Oh, yes. I think they've probably got grounds to sue. Well, no, actually they have grounds to be sued. Yes. David Bowie and Suffragette City, correct. 2 to the girls. They're all 2-point questions, Philip. Bit louder, Kale. Let's go with the next one. Oh, yes. Yes. Paul Kelly and the Colour Girls. I need a title. Darling, it hurts. Another 2 to the girls. I tell you what. And traditionally, the correct answer on the third question gets a bonus point. Only if she can answer the following question. True or false, Lady Gaga and Belinda Carlisle from the Go-Go's have opened an Indonesian restaurant called Go-Go's Go Gaga over Gado Gado.
False.
False is correct. She gets another 2 points. Kale, next one. Go. Oh, yes, sir. Wide open road, the Triffids, and sir, you'll be happy to know that was a bonus 6-point question. It's just a game. So 6 to the boys, and I think the girls are on 8. Yes, Kale, thank you. Oh, yes. Go-betweens. Streets of your town, 2 to the girls. Next, Kale. Let's... Up the back. Praise You by Fat Boy Slim, 2 to the girls. Gee, the girls are on fire. Kale, go. Yes, cut up the back. Big voice. You're just too hip by Dave Graney, 2 to the boys. Bit louder, Kale. Thank you. Let's keep going. Yes. Know Your Product, the Saints, 2 to the boys. Next, go. Yes. It's Tim Rogers and Bamboos and I Got Burned, 2 to the boys. Next. We're going to do this for about an hour and a half. Go, Kale. Thank you. Sorry. Ooh. Oh, yes. Wonderwall Oasis, 2 to the boys. The boys are coming back. Yes, thank you, Kale. Yes. Red right hand. That hand went up so hard, it just narrowly missed the general manager of PBS's nostril. General manager may not be correct. 2 to the girls, thank you. One more before we have a score check. Kale, go. Oh, what? Look, I said keep them short. Yes. Nirvana and... Two to the girls. All right, Phil, are you ready for a score? Could we have a little tapping on the table to denote that there is a score approaching? And cut.
16 to the girls, 14 to the boys.
It's a 2-point game. Kale, go. Oh, come on. Oh, up the back. Yes. Oh. She got it. 2 to the girls. Next. 4-point game. Yes. Hunters and collectors. I need a title. Not when the river runs dry. Not the slab. I'll take points off for you. Which one? Say goodbye. 2 to the girls, 2 to the boys. Next. 3 to go. Yes. Look, I'm not saying that you're not a young man. You know what I mean? However, suddenly something from your era, Georgie fame. Yeah. Bonus question. Are you ready? Which of the following is not a member of the village people? A construction worker, B, an Indian chief, C, an organic fruit and vegetable wholesaler.
I think it might be C.
Correct. Extra 2 to the boys. Go. 2 to go. Oh, yes. White Stripes doorbell. 2 to the girls. Last one. Yes. No, you see, I know you want to contribute, and I know you're excited, but she was first. Yes. Rolling Stone, Sympathy for the Devil. Can we have the banging on the table to denote the score? Philip.
And it's a win to the girls, 24 points to 20.
Sorry, Kale. Well, I tell you what, that didn't go how it normally goes, because normally your rock nerd is a bloke. But there's something about this sector. The girls won. Give yourselves a hand. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to leave you with a little story. I wrote this to honour what I think is an incredible broadcasting station, the great 3RRR, a potent force in my life, a constant companion, and I suppose an example of just how great community radio can be. So sit back for a couple of minutes. I lost my heart to 3RRR. Losing my heart to 3RRR was inevitable. How to resist an independent, brave, unpredictable, honest, exciting community radio station featuring passionate presenters of all shapes and sizes who do it for nothing but love. Pure love. A 40-year-old legendary institution which has played a vital role in the cultural fabric of our city and, by extension, our country. An island of integrity in a sea of crass commercial mediocrity, the jewel in the junk heap. The moment Lust for Life by Iggy Pop burst from the radio in our freezing communal house in Camberwell sometime in 1977, I was hooked, and I have been ever since. I'm a radio junkie, a happy slave to the dial. First thing in the morning, last thing at night. On and off all through the day, in the backyard, in the kitchen, and especially in the car, fingers dancing across those preset buttons. 3RRR is always my first choice, but I do play the field. Blue Juice and Acid Country on PBS, Blues with a Feeling and Hot Damn Tamale on 3CR, The Planet, The Inside Sleeve on Radio National, Dennis Walter's Laugh, The Genius of Roy and HG, 2Bay FM in Byron, FBI in Sydney, and so many more. But I usually start with 3RRR. Radio has always been important in my life. An early memory is hopping like a frog across cold lino while Mum hung towels around the kerosene heater. Kindergarten of the Air boomed from our big brown valve radio, and I was anywhere but a kitchen in North Bourne. I remember Stan Rofe, Stan the Man, playing Get Off My Cloud on the Greater 3UZ. When the song faded, there was a moment's silence. Stan, chuckling, said, "I like it so nice, I'm going to play it twice." And sure enough, he played it again. I remember kneeling on shag pile carpet in a flag motel in Dubbo, fiddling with the strange radio built into the double bedhead, thrilled by the sound of White Room by Cream, and buying it 2 days later in Coolangatta. I remember sitting on the banks of the Goulburn River under a huge black sky, chilled to the bone, eating twisties and spinning the radio dial while my father baited hooks and mumbled theories to explain why we hadn't caught any fish at all. I tuned into hundreds of country stations offering communal coziness and triple plays of Del Shannon, Elvis and the Big Bopper. From 1972 until 1974, I listened to Room to Move on the ABC every Monday night, presented by Chris Winter. Winter sounded intelligent, mysterious and super cool. He played music to match. I sat close to my leather-bound transistor radio, pretending to do my homework, but writing down every song he played. Those songs and those artists formed the real starting points for a growing record collection. Lightning Hopkins, Taj Mahal, Buffy St. Marie, Planksty, Whipping Post by the Allman Brothers Band, The Last Time I Saw Richard by Joni Mitchell, Jerry Garcia, Bonnie Raitt, Mike Rudd. By 1975, I was turning into a rock snob, and Melbourne radio sounded lightweight and safe. We had great record stores and our pubs were full of exciting bands, but something was missing on the radio. You'd go to Sydney and Double J was playing big slabs of Patti Smith, Mott the Hoople and Lynyrd Skynyrd, but back in Melbourne it was Sherbet, Little River Band and Mark Holden. Thankfully, all that changed when Triple R came into my life around 1977. My friends and I couldn't believe it. We liked guitars and great songs and punk rock and blues, and we loved Talking Heads, Jonathan Richman and The Clash, and here was a station that played all our favourite records and others we'd never heard of. Great music and also great talk. Intelligent and irreverent conversations about films and politics and art and sport and all the stuff that didn't seem to fit anywhere else but was important. In 1979, I rang the station and asked if I could do a show. I did 3 training sessions, taped the last one, and a couple of weeks later began a 6-month stint of Sunday morning shows, 6 till 9. I was a primary school teacher in Glen Waverley all week and a junior footy coach every Saturday, but every Sunday morning in the half-light of dawn I'd drive to Carlton, giddy with excitement. I'd climb the rickety stairs of a terrace house in Cardigan Street, put on my intro music, the Third Man theme, and open the show with some obscure Bob Dylan, or maybe some Graham Parker, or Paul Kelly and the Dots, or the Saints, or the Sports, or Ella Fitzgerald, or Muddy Waters, or I'll Be a Dag for You, Baby, by the Fabulous Nudes, or anything, absolutely anything my heart desired. I continued doing this in various time slots on and off for the next 16 years, finishing with 4 years on Wednesday and Saturday afternoons with the great, late, loud and luscious Linda Gibson. In January 2004, we were driving up Punt Road, heading to a beautiful park by the Yarra in Fairfield for Linda's funeral. We were running late. The baby was crying, the weather was ridiculous, the traffic was banked up for no good reason, and we were overwhelmed, cranky, heartbroken, I turned on Triple R and I heard the final moments of Tears of Rage by the band, which led perfectly into I Shall Be Released by Bob Dylan, Torn and Frayed by the Rolling Stones, and Here Comes the Sun by Nina Simone. It's Tim Thorpe and he's filling in for the Galactic Zoo, and I wonder if he's doing this for Linda. But he doesn't mention it. Sleeps with Angels by Neil Young begins as we turn into Heidelberg Road, and then suddenly we're getting out of the car in brilliant sunshine, walking down to the river to celebrate an independent, brave, unpredictable, honest, exciting life. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Triple R. Thank you, Community Radio. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great conference. Thank you very much.